Can you see me? Oh, okay. I wasn't sure.
The Bears are who we thought they were. That's why we took the damn field. Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass. Bears. Stafford down the middle is intercepted. DJ Moore. Overthrows and intercepted for DJ Moore. Throws and is intercepted by DJ Moore. Searching for the thrill. Takes the snap from his own end zone, lines up, throws, in a traffic, it is deflected, picked up by DJ Moore, on the 10, 9, end zone, touchdown, touchdown Bears, DJ Moore, pick 6.
You are tuned in to the Chris and DJ Show with former Chicago Bears nickelback DJ Moore.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Chris and DJ Show. I am Chris Schanfeld. He is former Chicago Bears nickelback, baby backer, defensive back, DJ Moore. What's up, DJ?
Ain't not much, man. Chilling, Keeping my nose to the pavement, whatever that means.
Staying out of trouble. Gotta love it. Hey, so breaking news right out the gate in the NFL. Jalen Ramsey traded to the Los Angeles Rams for 2 first-round picks and a 4th-round pick. The Jacksonville Jaguars, they were holding still, and they stuck to their word. They said they were not going to budge unless they were going to get at least 2 first-round picks. They get that and a little bit more with a 4th included. Initial reaction, I was pretty surprised, DJ. This came just 2 or 3 hours after they traded Marcus Peters to Baltimore, so you got to think that this was in the works for the past couple of days, in the very least. And then obviously, once it kind of got down to it, they started to make a move. Marcus Peters, they probably already knew that this trade was going to go down a couple hours later, and that it did. Jalen Ramsey to the Los Angeles Rams. You can make an argument that Ramsey is certainly in the discussion with the Khalil Macks of the world, with the Aaron Donalds of the world, the top defensive players in the league, J.J. Watt. Now you got 2 of those guys on the same team, on the same defense, Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey. It's going to be interesting to see how that works out there in Los Angeles. The Rams this week play the Atlanta Falcons, the struggling Atlanta Falcons, who are coming off of a loss to the Arizona Cardinals. And at least as of right now, early indications are that Jalen Ramsey's back will be fully healed and he'll be able to give it a go for the Los Angeles Rams. Your initial thoughts, DJ? I mean, obviously, whenever you see a superstar player like this kind of get moved, especially during the season, it's always a little bit of a surprise, but this we kind of seen it coming in terms of a trade. I didn't really see it coming with the Los Angeles Rams, but your initial thoughts on the Jalen Ramsey trade to the Rams, DJ?
Well, I would initially you say you think it's good for the Rams, but Peters has been struggling. He got traded away. Like, who's the other guy that's going to kind of hold down the other side? Because if I have one shutdown corner, then I don't have to throw it to your side. You need slot corners and everything. So I think, I don't know. You got him. The Rams, since McVay has been there, has been going big and going home. They've been paying players. They've been getting more and more. So I think they're trying to get back to the Super Bowl, because I think they're in a tricky situation. And in the division they're in, they may not make the playoffs. You know what I mean? So if they do make it, it might have to be a wild card. So I think they're just trying to, bolster their defense. They may be, I guess, changing the style or the way that they do it. But, he's a good player. I like him. He talks a lot, which I appreciate. He normally back it up. The only problem is, you pick him up and then he go against Julio Jones, you could shatter his confidence really fast. Like, if you want to see if you're the best, we get tested this week. You know what I mean? So I think he good, but I think they just have more problems than him. So when you give away that much, and I got more problems because my running back isn't healthy. Like, cause you went out and got a really good running back, like you know what I mean, somebody else. Because with Gurley, it seemed just like at some points you have to put him on the shelf for good because his injuries and stuff is always just piling up. Because that offense needs somebody who can like run like he can. When you go and get a defensive player, when your defense, well, I mean, even last year, even with Aaron Donald, their defense has never been top notch. Now they started playing okay, better in the playoffs, but I mean, it's always been an okay defense with some really good flashes of defensive line talent. They got Marcus Peters. I don't see it, buddy. Okay. When they got you gotta go back in there, baby. Okay, I will in a minute. Go back in there. Okay. But when they got Marcus Peters, they thought they had the guy because they had to leave on the other side. He's proven that he's one of those, you mean, those type of players. But with him being out, then with Peters going, like, again, you got him. But, I mean, what else? What else is it? Because, I mean, they struggled, I mean, on both sides of the ball as well. But he out of Jacksonville, so we'll see. I mean, literally, you'll get to see. And I would not be surprised because I think the same thing kind of when Peters first got there, like he did the same, like he just kind of just struggled. And we've seen it, you know, time and time where it's like you got a really good corner, he's paid, and then all of a sudden somebody make him look terrible on national TV, and then you're not as high on him anymore. So, but I think he's a good corner, so you be happy for him. I'm assuming they're gonna just turn around and pay him now.
Well, you would think, especially giving up all of that, the draft capital, you know, 2 first-round picks, a 4th-round pick. We've seen just a couple months, well, not even, maybe a month ago when Laramie Tunsil, the offensive tackle, was traded to the Houston Texans. They gave up a king's ransom for him, and he's yet to sign a new deal. So he's on the final year of his contract there in Houston after they gave up so much. So we'll see if he can work something out with Houston.
Like, he struggled at the beginning. But now he is blocking his life away, so he'll be fine.
And now the same thing here with Jalen Ramsey. Early reports are there have not been any new contract negotiations or discussions with the Los Angeles Rams up to this point. Now you remember when the Bears acquired Khalil Mack, right after that trade went down, the 5, 6, 7 year deal, whatever, I think 7-year deal. For Khalil Mack was announced basically, I don't know why I got my alarm going off, basically right after that trade was announced, that Khalil Mack deal was already signed, sealed, and delivered. So there's nothing yet with Jalen Ramsey, but you got to think, if you're giving up that much for a player, that's certainly the plan, is to sign him long term. Now the Rams have been open. There was a story that leaked out last year that they were trying to acquire Khalil Mack last year, and they wanted him just for the year. They were open to just having him as a rental type player, have him for the year, include him with that defense with Aaron Donald. Last year they had Ndamukong Suh, Dante Fowler, and kind of bolster up that defense. That obviously did not happen. But again, Jalen Ramsey traded to the Los Angeles Rams just hours after the Rams deal Marcus Peters to the Baltimore Ravens for a linebacker, Kenny Young, rookie 4th-round draft pick out of UCLA, and a undisclosed draft pick. So a lot going on with that Rams secondary. They placed Aqib Talib on IR yesterday. He is expected to make a return, though, at some point this season. But again, the Jalen Ramsey traded from Jacksonville to the Los Angeles Rams. Some breaking news there to start off the show, DJ. Taking a look at our Chicago Bears, though, I mean, the bye week has come and gone, DJ. Now they prepare for this long stretch of games, as now they're playing every week until the regular season is over. And they get set to take on the New Orleans Saints this Sunday at Soldier Field at home. Looks like it's going to be Teddy Bridgewater still, who's of course undefeated since taking over there with the New Orleans Saints when of course Drew Brees went down with that thumb injury. We do expect to see Brees coming back in the next couple of weeks, but it does not seem as if he'll be ready for the Chicago Bears. Still early in the week, though. Still time to make that decision if you're the New Orleans Saints. But speaking of IR, as we just mentioned with Akeem to leave, the Bears the last couple of days have placed a couple of their stars on injured reserve on both sides of the field. One being offensive lineman Kyle Long, who we've talked about all season long, has struggled from the get-go, and they decided to shut him down for the season with a hip injury. And then also Akiem Hicks, defensive lineman, one of the better players on this very special defense. They placed him on IR today with that elbow injury that he suffered in London against the Oakland Raiders. Did not look pretty, and as we see now, it certainly was not pretty. Matt Nagy met with the media yesterday. He did not sound confident at all, which makes this news today that Akiem Hicks placed on injured reserve not as surprising after hearing Nagy's remarks yesterday. But there is a possibility that Akiem Hicks returns. Once you're placed on IR, teams have an option to take you off of IR. You have to be on there, though, for at least 8 weeks. So there's a possibility that Akiem Hicks returns at some point this season, maybe late in the season and into the playoffs, if this team does indeed go to the playoffs. But Nagy has said that Kyle Long will not return at all this year. Kyle Long, Akiem Hicks, DJ, I'll go to you first. What does this mean for each side of the football? I mean, I know you could look at maybe Kyle Long. This could be a negative turned into a positive with him being out. Rashad Coward, when he filled in against Minnesota, he certainly held his own. And then obviously defensive line. I mean, there's no replacing Akiem Hicks. Although you do have some depth on that D line, and you are getting some bodies back this week that we'll touch on a little bit later. But Kyle Long, Akiem Hicks, what does this mean for both sides of the football, DJ?
Well, when you talk about depth, it's kind of dwindling now. Because I mean, if you have another injury, then it's like who's the next guy up? And especially on offense, on defense, I'm fine with the defensive line and whoever we got whoever comes in seems to play really well. But on offense, say if the guy that replaces Long goes down, then what happens? Does the line have to shuffle and move? It affects everything. Because now when he got hurt, I mean, when he sat out or got hurt, the first time when they played against Minnesota or whatever happened, you had a guy come in and do really well. But now when he goes out, will you have another guy? Will a younger guy be ready? And as you know, especially when you're a quarterback, man, listen, you don't want your offensive lineman to go down and keep going down, because if another one go down, that's all it takes is one. And 1 week leak, sit down, boy. 1 week leak in the chain, that's it. I mean, that's like, and I've seen it. Like, if you got one guy that can't block somebody, yeah, then you have to have somebody help or chip, and then that takes away from your concept and what you want to do. So I think it more so affects the offense line. Now, if they stay healthy, then it's probably fine, but it's still a long season. And once one injury happens, it seems that for some reason I always pile up. So hopefully we can stay healthy. But I think it affects the offensive side a little more than the defensive side.
Yeah. And Kyle Long placed on IR. Akiem Hicks placed on IR today. They do, though, a couple starters returned to practice today. Mainly, the headliner, Mitchell Trubisky, returned to practice today. All signs point to him starting for the Bears Sunday against the New Orleans Saints after missing the last couple of games with an elbow injury. And then you also got Bilal Nichols returning, defensive lineman who, it certainly hurts missing Akiem Hicks, but Bilal Nichols is one of the younger guys that seems to have a pretty big ceiling, a lot of potential there. So it'll be interesting to see how he bounces back in his sophomore season after having a standout rookie season last year. And then, of course, Taylor Gabriel, who missed the last couple of games after his 3-touchdown performance against the Washington Redskins, got a concussion late in that game. he returned to practice as well, and all signs point to him returning against the New Orleans Saints. So although you are now after the bye week, you lose a couple guys for at least, in the very least, a big chunk of the season. You do get some playmakers back, at least in Gabriel and Bilal Nichols, and of course Mitchell Trubisky, still the biggest question mark of them all on this team. DJ, what exactly are you expecting to see from Mitchell Trubisky this week? Again, he's likely starting against the New Orleans Saints. How should Nagy and the Bears handle Mitchell Trubisky in his first game back from this injury? I think you gotta let him off the leash. I mean, right now it's go time. I mean, the team is 3-2. You're coming off the bye. Coming off of a loss to an Oakland Raiders team that you should have won, but, I mean, on all three phases, that team totally dominated the Bears in London. And then, of course, all the questions regarding Mitchell Trubisky and, what his possible future here in Chicago. A lot of people are thinking after this season that the jury will be out, that we will know exactly what Mitchell Trubisky is and what they should do with the quarterback after this season. So I think Trubisky and Nagy, they got to turn it on here in the second half of the season, and I think it all starts Sunday against the New Orleans Saints.
Well,
especially if you feel good enough for him to play. I mean, you can't have any more excuses about the lack of experience. That's been out the window for the past year now, and you can't have any excuses about him coming off this injury. If he's good enough if he's healthy enough to play, then you gotta unleash him.
Well, yeah, but I think he's been trying to unleash him, or, well, you know what? I talked to a guy earlier today. I'm at school, I'm at work, and I think he's a Green Bay fan, but he was started talking about Chicago, man. If they had a quarterback, when he was like, well, it seemed like the coach is like holding him back, and I said, man, I'm not sure. When you watch it, it's like I see guys going deep, so there's obviously a read for him to read that, interpret the play the way he want to interpret it. Now his coach telling me to throw it short. At this point, who knows? So the hard thing about him coming back this time is the Saints defense is really good. And typically when their offense doesn't score a lot of points, their defense doesn't give up a lot of points. Do I expect, if it's Teddy Bridgewater, Teddy Bridgewater to get a lot of points? I don't. So and at the same time, I don't expect the offense to score a lot of points. And with that being said, I expect this press conference to be like, we got to get it together and figure it out. And it won't be due to him just being lack of experience, lack of trying. I mean, that defense has just been really good when the offense has struggled, and our defense should make them struggle. I don't think Alvin Kamara, I think he's out, or he has a high ankle sprain, so I wouldn't risk that. So, I mean, it's you down Breeze, you down Kamara. I mean, come on, they scored, what is it? They had the Cowboys at 10 points. They scored 12. They have the Jags at 6. They scored 13. So the Texans, they gave up 28. The Seahawks, they gave up 27. The Bucks, 24, and the Rams, 27. All of those are offenses like this year that have been putting up a lot of points. Like struggling offenses like right now, like the Cowboys and the Jaguars. If you're a struggling offense playing the Saints, they don't care. They can't wait for that. So I don't see, honestly, and we don't score too many times in the 20s anyway. I mean, I don't see us getting over 14 points. Now, I don't see us giving up more than that. But then again, I didn't see us getting dumped in the head by the Raiders either. But I could, especially with Bridgewater, and he's really conservative with the ball. He's more of like we'll be playing against Mitch Trubisky on Sunday. You know what I mean? Like it's the same type of guy. So I think it'll be a defensive battle, but I don't think offense. So I think he's in a no-win situation this week. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't see him doing good this week. Even if he came out there energized and excited, like I just don't see him playing good against his defense though.
Yeah, I think if he does have a chance at playing well against this Saints defense, again, one of the top defenses in the league, and it's one of those teams where almost like the Patriots, where so many years you rely on the offense and for them to put up a bunch of points. Well, the Saints, that's not them this year, and a big part of that might be because they're without Drew Brees, but another part is the improvement of their defense the last couple of years. You've seen it last year, you're seeing it again this year. Cameron Jordan, Marcus Lattimore, one of the top young defensive backs in the league, or you could throw Young out. I mean, just one of the top defensive backs in the league in general. Yeah, I mean, this defense is certainly the real deal. If the Bears have any chance at having any type of offensive success with their quarterback, that will be because of kind of like I said, kind of letting the leash go of Mitchell Trubisky, and I think they need to use him in the running game a lot more. DJ's gonna take a quick break, really quick.
Keep going. I'm kind of right now.
But yeah, again, I think if the Bears have any success, or at least Mitchell Trubisky, that is, it will be because they're going to use his athleticism. He is an athletic quarterback, and we haven't really seen that much, really since dating back to last season before he got hurt against the Minnesota Vikings, coincidentally enough. And we got DJ back in the fold of things.
What's up, man?
But no, DJ, I was just telling everybody, I think if the Bears have a chance, or Mitchell Trubisky, if he has a chance at having any type of success, it's going to be very tough to do against one of the league's top defenses in the New Orleans Saints. But if he has any chance, he's going to have to show his athletic ability once again, which we haven't seen since late last year before he got hurt against, again, coincidentally enough, the Minnesota Vikings. But he's going to have to run the football a little bit more. He's going to have to, I mean, that's just, if he's going to have any type of success, he needs to use his legs a bit more than what we've seen at least at the start of this season.
I would agree with it, but when he uses his legs, he tends to get hurt. When he falls and hits the ground,
at this point, we got to risk it.
He tends to get hurt. It's just,
risk the
it just is what it is. You know what I mean? So with him coming back, it's like that's the one thing he probably don't want to do is hit that ground. That's the one thing. Now it's gonna naturally take over and say I gotta run the ball. What my thing is that you gotta realize and look at the division. You got the Packers at 5-1, the Vikes at 4-2, we at 3-2, and then it's 2-2. Now essentially, once we play the game, then we could be if we win it, then we'll move up because you beat the Vikings. But it's still last year only one team out of the division made the playoffs. Now, there's always, and right now, I think we're fighting more so for a wild card spot because I don't think we're going to get it back from Green Bay. I don't see, unless they just
Detroit totally
explode.
should have won that game last night, man.
Well, now, with that being said, think about that, though. Honestly, and I've been hard on Matthew Stafford, barring, the record, the team the best is in last. They played the best football against the best teams, and they're in last. So we still got to play them twice. This division has turned into something that, it's going to be a tough sled. And if this game here, because it's just every NFC matchup now is going to count because, if you don't win your division, it's kind of, those games kind of add up. And I want to say this could be the beginning of the end if we lose this game, if that makes sense. Because what you got to realize, if I lose this game, then I'm 3-3. Then I got some couple more tough games against other teams that they're trying to vie for positions, in the playoffs. And then you got to finish with, the division games. And if you don't make the playoffs, then it's like, okay, well, is it a coach or is it Trubisky? If it's Trubisky, then you get a new quarterback. You know what it means when you have a new quarterback? Normally, it's another down year. If you drafting one, now if you're going to get one in free agency, it's a toss-up. It just doesn't work out to where it's like, oh, I'm Joe Montana, let me go to Kansas City, throw a touchdown too. It normally don't happen that way. And you see that throughout the league when you lose a quarterback. either your team goes down the drain or you find one and he'll be the guy for the long haul, or you'll get lucky with a Tom Brady or a Kurt Warner from bagging groceries to winning a Super Bowl. Like, but it doesn't. Them stories are cool, but it doesn't happen a lot. And if you keep losing this season, some has to give. It has to be me or him. And then you have a situation like what's the guy? What was the guy's name before?
Here in Chicago,
Yeah.
John Fox,
No. It was one before him too, right? Or
Trestman,
was it after
Mark
him?
Trestman with the
Trust me, it was
Cutler
like
and McCown.
you had a really good year, a lot of expectations, and once it goes down, it's like, you know what? Time to wash it. Time to wash. So we had a good year. Get to the playoffs. Really good defense again. But now it's like, man, is your offense the one? Because everything's a trend now. It's like, well, if you know this guy, I want to pick you up. If you know, what's the Rams coach name?
Sean McVay.
If you know Sean McVay, you might know some offense. Like, no, I'm gonna tell you something. He's struggling too, because you need stuff. Like you need like them little people, them little bitty people up front to block, and you need the guy to get the $100 million to throw it. But if that don't get done, I don't care how slick you is at coach. If you got a cool beard and sunshades, listen. You can't do anything. So either the quarterback is for us is not ready for the spotlight, and he's too immature at this point in his career at the quarterback position, or it's the offense. So or the play caller. So I think this year is going to determine a lot. I think by the end of the year, because I just think it's going to keep going like this. I don't see it like the offensive output going up in any direction because we have such a tough schedule. Now, last year, what was it? Oh, man, they played really good late. Like, well, you got to think about the schedule sometimes. So it'll be interesting if you don't make the playoffs, you know, what he says. Because if you don't make the playoffs, I think Trubisky I think that's it for him, honestly. Now, the coach, I mean, you probably invest in him. You'll give him another chance to say, hey, it's Trubisky. And we talked about it. I think they blaming him anyway, though, personally. They've already stuck the blame on him. Now, what's good for him was Chase Daniels, he didn't continue to play good. So it makes you look better in turn. Does that make sense? Because at first it's like, oh, he played good. Why are you not playing good? Like, oh, it ain't just you. Like, everybody who comes in struggles with this offense. Interesting. But I think you see a lot of young quarterbacks around the league getting through it in the bus. You got the Josh Rosen thing where they doing him terribly wrong. In Washington, the young quarterback who got drafted, they're going to do him terribly wrong because they don't get a new coach, and the coach probably won't believe in him, and then he'll be and you just got to be in a good situation, man. And it's hard sometimes to find a really good situation. You see quarterbacks do it. But, yeah, those two, it's going to be tricky, man. And I think this game is going to just be the launching pad for, it's got to be another guy. And even though I talk bad about it, I like him, man. You know what I mean? But it's just,
well, like you said,
you just got to get the job done, man.
It's going to be the launching pad one way or the other. If the Bears lose this game and Trubisky struggles, I mean, you could bet your top dollar that's going to be the main discussion on Sports Talk Radio the next morning here in the city. That, you know, the Bears they need to figure something out. And especially if this defense continues having the dominant performances that they've had this season, minus the Raiders game. You know, these defenses are tough to come by, especially when you only need to put up, you know, 14 points, 14, 17, 20 points a game to win. You know, then all eyes are going to be looked at to the offense, to the offensive play caller, and to the quarterback. So if the Bears lose and Trubisky struggles, you know, yeah, it is going to be, hey, you know what, they need to find somebody else under center. If he looks great and the Bears win and the offense actually has a standout performance, at least to compared to what they've shown this season already, then there will still be some belief there, and there will be a little bit more of a leash given to Trubisky and a little bit more time given to him from this fan base, and probably maybe even from the Chicago Bears organization as a whole. Obviously, we'll have to see it consistently, and we still have plenty of time left this season to kind of determine whether or not this is going to be the quarterback for the future for the Bears or not, because as of right now, to be flat out honest, it's not looking like it. And yeah, he's dealt with some injuries. This is his only his second year in this offense, but this was supposed to be the year, the big jump, the leap year for Mitchell Trubisky and this offense, and it just has not been that, to say the least.
Well, in his defense, all right. Again, the offensive line play hasn't been really good, and to be a really good quarterback, you have to have that. You got to have the offensive line play. When you go around the league and you see good quarterbacks, you normally see good line play. Tom Brady, a lot of times, I think they tell him if he get touched, you going home. Like, he just always have time, and when he doesn't have time, i.e. when you play against the Giants and you lose a couple of times, is they hit your head and you look scared and you don't look the same. You look like a kid that woke up and said, I'm going to go back in the backyard and play against some guys, and man, I ain't got no block. It just looked that way. So when you can generate pressure, even in the Super Bowl against the Falcons, it was the same way. Man, throughout the entire game until the explosion happened. But it's like, if you can get pressure and your offensive line can't hold up, it's like you're going to struggle. So to me, I felt like during the beginning of the year, I mean, he didn't really trust him because you can see it. I mean, you can watch it. And if you got NFL Game Pass, you can go back and watch it. The coach's view. It's like, no, I can see it. Like, you can even look at it from the back. Like, he's coming free. Like, that's why he has to move. That's why he can't set his feet. Like, he's like, oh, you can't have happy feet. But, man, if he's in my face, what do you want me to do? Get a sack fumble because I ain't looking at him. I'm looking down the field. So I think we got to shore up that side of the ball, too, with the offensive line. It's still interesting, and they're going to always blame the quarterback. And it's been quarterbacks that drafted the bad teams and bad offensive lines, and it's always a quarterback's fault. You give me the play, you know what, let me make it good. But it's a team game. It's why I think it's the greatest sport in the world, because you have so many people who have to work together. Now, the linemen don't get a lot of credit when you rushing for a lot normally, because the running back goes to the running back, and when the quarterback struggles, normally they like, hey, quarterback, you need to make something happen. Get rid of it faster. Like, he's not open. Well, you sacked. That's your fault. So it's going to be interesting to see, especially with, Long being out. This bye week, hopefully you figure something out. Offensive line coach, I don't know, communication, whatever it may be. I remember you talking about having – I think you said they had somebody move from center, or we had somebody shift back. I don't know, whatever it got to be. We got to figure out something where, hey, man, like, he feels comfortable, in that position, because every week there's going to be a defensive lineman. It's going to be the best player on the field. Like, it's every week. You can depend on it. It's a top dollar position, and they going to be humming all game. And no matter if it's 130 plays, all they got to do is disrupt you once or twice. And I know it ain't a lot, but it's just like, that's all it takes. But if they get the rhythm down, and again, we ain't been able to run the ball. Like, so have we, I'm sure they've been talking about that. We trying to feed it. We got to get a 100-yard rusher at some point. At some point, man.
Yeah, Cordell Patterson, at the end of the season, Patterson cannot be the team's leading rusher as he is right now.
Yeah, unless you're going to get him full time. He's a big guy, man. Honestly, every time he run the ball, it don't look bad. I can't lie to you. But I know, you're right.
And that also falls on the offensive line, like you said, DJ. I mean, this offensive line was a strong point to this team last year, and it's probably minus the quarterback situation, which obviously the offensive line has a part in doing, but minus the quarterback situation, this has been the weakest part of the team, is the offensive line. It's disrupted the passing game. It's disrupted the running game. Minus the struggling Kyle Long, who we've talked about on many shows. You got Charles Leno Jr., who you just paid in the offseason, coming off of a career year, played really well last year, was a Pro Bowler, voted to the Pro Bowl. You pay him in the offseason, and right now, as we stand, he leads. If I'm not mistaken, he leads the league. I know for a fact he leads offensive linemen in penalties, and that's not going to cut it. You got the struggling second-year player James Daniels, the second-round pick last year out of Iowa, who played great at guard last year, and then you decide to move him into center, his natural position, or at least the position he played in college this year, and he hasn't gotten off to a hot start. And Cody Whitehair has probably been the only solid piece on that offensive line so far this season. Bobby Massey's been all right as well. But Cody Whitehair, I mean, it seems like he could be a plug-and-play player wherever you decide to put him on the offensive line, and he'll have success. He was, of course, the center last year and the year prior to that as well, who also just got a nice payday prior to week 1 of the regular season. So you got a lot of money already invested in this offensive line, and the fact that this has been arguably your weakest spot on the team, that's a pretty big concern looking at the money that you have invested in this.
I think when you look at it too, I think Howard last year, did he get 1,000 last year?
He did not. He did not.
Was he close to it?
He may have had 800. I'll pull it up really quick.
So I mean, every year I think he's been there. He's been really close to 1,000 or edit. So I think that changes everything too. Like when you have somebody who actually consistently rushing the ball, because if you get into 1,000 yards, I mean, you only need 100 yards a game to get to 1,000. You need about 70. But so you have some games less, some games more. But that means you consistently getting yards on the ground. So the defensive line has to consistently, say, you know what, got to stay in my gap. Got to two gap it. I got to be here. I got to be here. And when you're not rushing it, that means that every time you snap the ball, like I'm just humming, like I'm just coming. Because you seen the last game when they were rushing the ball on us, what did you not see? Like you got to slow down. You got to, hey Khalil, where you going? You need to be in your gap now. Hey, where you at? You know what I mean? So when you rush and when the offense is rushing it changes everything. And I think if we can somehow figure out how to do that, I think it'll change. I mean, it'll change a lot. But I mean, I just ain't so. It's been a lot because it's frustrating to see because we'll have a lot of passes and he's like, we're gonna run it. And then we'll run it, but it's like to what detriment? Like what are we running it for? It's like not doing anything. So we gotta figure out like something. When you get Cole in a screenplay, it seems to always work. Even when he's in for the screen, it always works. It's certain things when Patterson come in, other than the Green Bay play, it works for him too. You know what I mean? The rushes. To me, it just seems more play calling to me. That's personally. It just seems because it's always from game to game, he got to make another promise. Like I promise to run it more. I promise to be balanced. I promise to get this. I promise to do that. And I just don't know. I don't know if he can, because as a coach, it's really hard because you go home like, man, I got to figure this out. Is he overthinking it? We talked about they got weapons and I don't know. And then Miller, I think Miller got lucky because, Gabriel's out. Like he's showing like, man, this is what I did last year. Like y'all didn't see it? Like I got to show you again what I showed you already? Like I told you I was already promising. So now with Gabriel back, does he get less reps? Because he's been showing up. I don't know, man. I don't know because with Gabriel and then you have Cohen, like somebody has to lose the rep. We seen with the Run DMC, we got Davis up out of there. You know what I mean? Because then you got Patterson taking probably his reps and then, man, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know where we go from here. You know what I mean? Like who gets what and how many this and that, and it seemed honestly, kind of like what it is, and with the Browns, it's kind of like, man, I feel like I got a lot of pieces, but like, what do I really do? Like, and for them, they rushing the ball really well. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
Nick Chubb's
Like,
awesome.
I don't want to rush it well because it don't make me look good as a play caller. I want to throw, you know what I mean? So I don't know, man. I don't know if I don't know what it is, but we gonna have to figure. But I can assure you, after the game, it'll be like, man, we gonna defense, great job, man. Offense, we gotta. I don't know, whatever we gotta do, we gotta figure it out. We gotta go back to the drawing board. It's gonna be something like that. Mark my word. You can play our interview. You can play these side by side. They may sound identical after the game, because I mean, I just don't see them against the Saints doing. I don't see them against anybody doing it, honestly. Even listen, you got to realize we struggle. We struggled against the Redskins, man. Like defense turned the ball over, score or turn the ball over like on their side of the field. Like we struggled. Daniel Jones was out there throwing dimes on the rest. Come on, man. Come on. No one has struggled against the Redskins but us on defense. Now we put up points because of what the defense was doing, but
Well,
struggling.
that's just like the Oakland Raiders game, DJ. I mean, if this defense didn't cause turnovers and if special teams didn't make plays, they are the reason why the offense was put in a situation where they were so close to the goal line. I believe I heard a stat that on those 3 plays that the Bears scored touchdowns on against the Oakland Raiders, they were only within, on all 3 plays, a combined 30 yards. I mean, you're not going to get that every game. And the Bears still found a way to lose that game, although they fought and crawled and scratched and, almost came back and won the game. They still ended up dropping that one against the Oakland Raiders. That could be a game where we look back on, come December, where we're like, man, if only they were able to pull that game away, if only they made 1 or 2 less mistakes, maybe this could be a playoff team. There's one thing for sure, though, DJ. I think after Sunday, come Monday, come Tuesday, we're gonna know this is a must win game for the Bears. I'm gonna call it. I mean, this could turn. You win this game, it could do a lot for this team's confidence. It could do a lot for this team in general in every facet. You lose this game, especially after losing one of your defensive leaders for a big chunk of the season, at least 8 weeks in Akiem Hicks. You lose Kyle Long, although he's been struggling, he's still one of the leaders on that offense. If you lose this game, I could see it really going downhill. I don't want to sound like I'm overreacting, but I understand I'm overreacting a little bit here, DJ.
Well, listen, have I been high on Trubisky? No, I have not. But we're 3-2, all right? Like, have we had an offensive game good ever this year? Have we had a good offensive game?
No.
No. Like, did he play good at camp? One day? No.
See, and that's why I look back to last year. At this point last year, there was some silver linings. There were some bright spots. They were 3-2 last year. But there was some bright spots because you've seen some flashes out of the offense. You've seen what the defense can do already in those 5 games, starting 3-2. This has a totally different vibe to it.
Well, because you can play defense. Like, we have a team set up, like, for cold weather. Like, on the defensive side, like, can I play defense and can I run the ball? Can we play defense? Yes. Can we run the ball? Absolutely not. And when it gets cold, them 3rd and 8s feel like 3rd and 30s, man. That wind is blowing like that. I mean, that's tough. That's tough to get.
935 yards, 9 touchdowns for Jordan Howard last year, by the way.
Yeah. So I mean, that's with him spending time with another dynamic player, man. Like consistently, like every game, I'm gonna get these, and I got somebody to depend on. So when we talked about like who's gonna be the guy who replaced him. And they struggling to find that guy that can get those. I mean, this is like you said, this is the same offensive line. Like, where's the play? Now we're 3-2. Does it feel different? Yeah. Schedule is harder. So you go on what? That means that we just have to lose 2 games like last year, right? 2 more games, we'll be 12-4. Can you see that? I don't see it. in a division where Green Bay is not down again. You beat Minnesota, but you got to go play Minnesota with the defense. The Lions, Matt Patricia, has played really good defense as well. There's tough slate.
Let's not mention the Rams and the Chiefs later in the year.
Right now with the Chiefs, your defense, their defense isn't good. But then again, you're running the exact same offense essentially. So I got the inside scoop on you. Now, if they come out throwing it, because even with them though, it'll be interesting though to be able to keep them out. Even with Mahomes being hurt, he's going to throw for 300 yards. Can you keep him out the end zone? Is the key with that one. I just don't see us making the playoffs, man. I just can't. And just look at the schedule. I just can't see it. Now it may happen because our defense is that good, and you say, "Oh, it won't happen every game." Like it's been happening like that every game. Like you get the turnover, short field, short field, short field. But I think teams are going to do what? They're going to try. Now for our defense, I think this is a key game too, just because they're going to do the same thing that the Raiders did. They're going to run at Khalil Mack. They're going to make people stay in their gaps. The injury to Akiem, is it Hicks, right?
Yep.
Hicks is going to kind of show up a little bit, I think, later on. But I think they'll respond. They'll be fine. You know what I mean? But it's going to be, you know what? The season is long. I done seen a lot of surprising stuff. The Browns jumped out on the Seahawks. They probably should have beat them. I've seen a lot of stuff. The Browns beat the Ravens. I didn't see that coming, but you know what? The only thing is like say like from the Browns or even the Ravens, like their division is just trash. Like they're losing or trying to lose. And then you got other two teams where if I beat you, I can get in. I'm good. We ain't got that. Like we ain't got that. You don't have that liberty to have that type of division. You never have. You know what I mean? So it's either you always got a couple of teams vying for position, and other ones, even the teams that don't make it, they 8-8, 9-7, or something like that. So it's yeah. We played the Vikings last game of the year.
Yes, we do.
Could be interesting. Could be very interesting.
It could be.
Yeah. Good thing Cousins don't play good in big games. I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, what is he? 4-27, I believe. I believe he just won his fourth game against a team with a winning record. Yeah, not very good. Not very impressive.
What I would say is though, what's really impressive, that offense looked awful all year, really. Yeah, he apologized to some people. Shit me.
Oh yeah, you get your, those. Hey,
turned it around. We got to start apologizing to people. I mean,
yeah, right. Somebody give him.
This should get a podcast. You need to start apologizing to everybody. Jeez, come on, man. Come on.
Hey DJ, that's where you got to work your connects, man. I mean, that's where you gotta go. You gotta shoot that text to Trubisky. Be like, hey man, I know you got some words you got to say to your offense, and get him on the show here. But yeah, I mean, that is quite fascinating. I mean, receivers call him out. A receiver requests a trade, and Kirk Cousins apologizes on radio, and now he's playing some of the best ball of his career. Diggs, he had 2 or 3 touchdowns the other day.
I don't know. He had 6 for like 160 something.
Right.
Like. And then the week before, I think that when they first came back, it was Thielen who got out of yards. So I mean, as a quarterback position, and I hate to bring up Mahomes all the time. Like he's in the mindset of like Favre. He takes the risk. Like I seen, he threw one ball up to Tyreek Hill. He was not open. Tyreek Hill went and got it. You know what I mean?
Amazing.
Like He throwing no look passes, sidearm, underarm, softball tosses. Like he's just taking the risk. Like every time he throws it, it seems to be down the field 20 or 30 yards. Like he's gonna try to put it somewhere. And like as a quarterback, sometimes you gotta blow caution to the wind. You might do a Jameis Winston and throw 130 picks. You shouldn't throw 5. You know what I mean? But man, you gotta respect the cat for just, you know what, I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna try it again. You know what I mean?
Gotta have that short term memory, man.
Man, listen, just try it. Like he's not open, but you know where he needs to be. You know what the defense is doing. Like yes.
Especially when you got the playmakers.
Oh.
He didn't have the playmakers his rookie year. You know, number one receiver was Cam Meredith. You had Kevin White still trying to carve out some type of niche, some type of career for him. Now you got Allen Robinson, a legit number one receiver. Now you got Taylor Gabriel. Now you got Anthony Miller, who looks like he could be a legit, number one, number two receiver at some point in his career. The tight end position, which is very crucial to this offense, is still a huge question mark. But you do still
leave him alone.
you do still got playmakers on this offense, and it would be nice to see Trubisky. I'm not saying lob it up and like you said, you gotta give credit to Jameis Winston. You got Mike Evans, you got Chris Godwin. Two guys that can go up and get it, but it was not working for him overseas over the weekend against the Carolina Panthers. But you would like to see Trubisky take more chances, take more risks. I mean, the little bit that we've seen from Chase Daniel, we've seen Chase Daniel take more risks already this season, I feel like, than we did Mitch Trubisky in the 4 games Trubisky played, 2 games compared to the 2 that Chase Daniel played. Anyways, DJ, Bears, Saints, this Sunday at Soldier Field on the lakefront. Before we wrap up the show, let's give our game predictions. I'm really not sure which direction to go in this one. I'd like to feel hopeful that coming off the bye, that this team can get things situated, but I feel like I've been waiting for that to happen now, 5 games in now, and it just hasn't happened. So I guess now I just have to play the wait and see game until I see it with my own eyes. I'm not too sure I'm gonna buy into it prior to the game, and I think this Saints team, man, even with Teddy Bridgewater, the offense, while they're not scoring as much points as they might with Drew Brees under center, they still don't seem to have missed a beat. I mean, you still got Michael Thomas out there making plays. Still got Alvin Kamara out there making plays, although he is listed as questionable as of right now for this game with the Bears. So that'll be something to keep an eye on leading up to kickoff. You still got guys on that offense still making plays despite not having their QB1 under center. And then you've already pointed out, this Saints defense is one of the league's best, and that's, coming from somebody that watches the Bears defense week in and week out. And while they might not be to that level, at least just yet, they got some names on this defense, really at every level of this defense. I mean, you got Cameron Jordan on the defensive line. I do like Sheldon Rankins, but he, coming off of a couple season-ending injuries the last couple of years, we're still kind of waiting to see him get back to his true form. They got Demario Davis at linebacker, and although they will be missing P.J. Williams the next couple of weeks due to suspension, a player in their secondary, they got Marshawn Lattimore, one of the top defensive backs in all of the league, a true ball hawk that is playing like a veteran already in this league, and he's only in the beginning of his second year of his career. So a lot of names, a lot of playmakers on this Saints defense. They're going to give the Bears offense a very difficult time, and this was an offense, although Chase Daniel was under center the last time we seen this team against the Oakland Raiders, this was an offense that did not have a lot of success even against an Oakland Raiders defense. So I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure I'm going to buy into seeing them have much success, even though they're coming off of their bye, even though they're getting their starting quarterback back. But we're still unsure if that's even a positive for this team with the Bears and getting Mitchell Trubisky back. So there's so many question marks regarding the Chicago Bears team. I feel confident that the defense will bounce back and they will have their way with this Saints offense. But I feel like I feel like the Saints defense is just going to be too much for the Bears offense, and at the end of the day, that's going to win them the game.
Yeah, you're right. I think because I think it's a must win. I think we'll win the game. Now I think it'll be score for me. We'll have 9, they'll have 6, no touchdowns. 9-6 is what I got. Cause I don't. Bridgewater, who's really conservative, without Kamara, somebody like a blanket receiver to throw it to out of the backfield. Thomas is really good, but with pressure, and we do zone, and it's gonna be a lot, I think, for Bridgewater to take in. So I think the defense gets it done. You know what I mean? Because if we do score, I don't think it'll be on offense. You know what I mean? You see, we got the special teams, we got the defense, so I think it'll. 9, put me down. 9, because they beat the Cowboys 10-12, Jags 13-6. If the Jags offense can go score 6, we can get 9. And our defense is much better than both of theirs, like from compared with every level. So I'm gonna go 9-6.
Okay.
So I guess it's gonna be on the leg, man.
Yeah, Eddie Pinheiro. We'll see. I'll go a little bit of a higher score than you. I'll go 16-10. Saints find a way to get it done. But we'll be right back here. We'll be right back here. Talking about a very disappointing performance from the offense, and we'll be saying the same song and dance, DJ.
Or not.
I mean, I hope not. Don't get me wrong. I hope not. But
I told you that'll work.
I just have a feeling we're going to be talking about yet another stellar performance from the defense, wasted against a very good NFC team, as we did Week 1 with the Green Bay Packers. And I have a feeling it might come again this week against the New Orleans Saints. We will have to wait and see. Again, Saints visit Chicago. They'll be playing at Soldier Field on the lakefront noon Sunday. Nonetheless, it should be an entertaining game. A lot of different storylines to watch out for this game. We'll have to wait and see if Alvin Kamara gives it a go for the New Orleans Saints. All signs point to Teddy Bridgewater starting yet another game for the New Orleans Saints. He is, of course, 4-0 as the Saints starter this year. And, of course, Mitchell Trubisky expected to start for the Chicago Bears as he returned to practice earlier this week, fresh out of the bye week. DJ, that's going to do it for us tonight. You're predicting a Bears win, 9-6. I'm going Saints. Bears fall to 3-3. We'll have to wait and see. Should be a good one. As always, DJ, thank you. As always, everybody for listening and watching. Thanks for tuning in. You can, of course, check out this show and past shows at Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, basically anywhere, Anchor, anywhere you could find a podcast, as well as Facebook Live and Periscope and Twitter as well. You can follow DJ at DJMore30. I'm at Chris Shanafel. Of course, our Twitter tags are here on the screen as well. You can see them. DJ, as always, appreciate the time, man. Always a great time chatting NFL and Bears football with you. And until next time, everybody, thanks for tuning in.
Peace.